Welcome to The Explainer. Our goal here is pretty simple. We take complex sources and distill them into clear, engaging narratives for you.
Today we're diving into the pretty controversial work of Graham Hancock, specifically his book America Before. And let me tell you, it proposes a radical rewriting of human history as we know it. So yeah, let's get right into it.
So where do we start? Well, we're not going to begin with some grand overarching theory. Instead, we're starting with just one piece of evidence. But this single piece of evidence, it has the potential to challenge everything we thought we knew about the very first Americans.
Okay, check this out. We're talking about a place called the Cerruti Mastodon Site down in San Diego. And here, researchers found something that just shouldn't be there. It's evidence that points to a human presence in North America way, way back. We're talking about an age that honestly seems almost impossible.
And here's where it gets really interesting. What you're seeing is the massive gap this discovery creates in our timeline. You see, the official story, the one that dominated archaeology for decades, was the Clovis first model. But this new evidence, it doesn't just poke holes in that theory. It completely blows it out of the water. And it leaves us with this huge, profound mystery. Who were these ancient people? And what on earth happened to them during that silent 100,000-year gap in the story?
So, with the official story on shaky ground, the book introduces a pretty bold hypothesis. It asks, what if there was an advanced, sophisticated civilization that existed during the Ice Age? A whole chapter of human history that we've, completely forgotten.
Now, Hancock argues that this civilization didn't just vanish without a trace. Instead, it left behind what he calls fingerprints. Think of it as a legacy of incredibly high knowledge that we can still see today if we know where to look. It's embedded in the massive architecture and the deep spiritual beliefs of later cultures, all across the globe.
And this idea is absolutely central to his whole argument. It connects these incredible ancient sites like the Serpent Mound in Ohio, which, by the way, is perfectly aligned to the solstices, and it connects it to structures literally on the other side of the planet, like Angkor Wat in Cambodia, which is aligned to the constellation Draco. I mean, the suggestion here is huge. What if these weren't just independent inventions? What if they were all expressions of a single, ancient, global system of knowledge?
Okay, so it's the big question, right? If this incredible, advanced civilization actually existed, where did it go? Well, the book points to a single, cataclysmic event as the smoking gun for its disappearance.
And this timeline, wow. It shows how everything builds to this one single, terrifying moment in time. We're looking at roughly 12,800 years ago. And it's like a perfect storm of disasters all hit at once. You've got a comet impact, a sudden, dramatic climate shift, a mass extinction of giants like the mammoths, and the complete and utter disappearance of the Clovis people. The key thing is, this isn't spread out over thousands of years. It all happens in the same geological instant.
The picture the book paints is, it's terrifying. We're talking about a planet-wide catastrophe. Imagine global wildfires so vast they consume nearly 10% of all life on land. Floods of biblical proportions are literally reshaping continents. The sky goes dark from all the debris, triggering an impact winter. The point is, this wasn't just a bad day. This was a global reset button, an event that would have completely, utterly destroyed any civilization, no matter how advanced it was.
So, after all that destruction, the story then explores the aftermath. I mean, you have to wonder, what if there were survivors? The book argues that there were, and that they became something like missionaries, carrying the surviving pieces of their knowledge with them across a shattered world.
And this right here just brilliantly illustrates that core claim. Just look at the parallels between the spiritual beliefs of ancient Egypt and the mound builders of the Mississippi Valley. I mean, these cultures were separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years, but their beliefs about the journey to the afterlife, the saw obstacles the soul faces, the path that follows along the Milky Way, it's all stunningly, almost identically the same. The argument, of course, is that these traditions didn't just pop up in isolation. They had to have been inherited from a common, much older source.
This leads the book to pose a really fascinating question. You see these ancient Egyptian texts? They talk about a homeland of the primeval ones that was destroyed in a great flood. They even describe sending out missions to restart civilization. So, are we reading a direct memory of this global mission? Could this be a record left by the survivors themselves, describing how they tried to replant the seeds of civilization in a post-apocalyptic world?
And all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most profound implication of this whole theory.
Because, this isn't just about adding an older chapter to our history books. It's about completely reframing our entire understanding of the human past.
So, the big takeaway here isn't just that human history might be way older than we think. It's that all of humanity might have a shared, forgotten chapter, a common inheritance that connects all the great ancient civilizations we know about, Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, all of them, back to a single brilliant source, a story that, maybe, we're only now beginning to rediscover.
And that leaves us with this final, really provocative question. What if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if North America, the continent that was hit hardest by that cataclysm, what if it wasn't a new world at all? What if it was the homeland of this lost chapter in human history? This idea challenges us to see the ancient mysteries of the Americas not as primitive beginnings, but as the last powerful echoes of a forgotten golden age.